Hello, my name is Arina, and I am into productivity and using one's energy effectively. So, I decided to read this book, and I have a lot of lessons that I took from this book and applied to my life. I am very pleased to report to you that it has worked. So, I am going to be talking about the biggest points that I took from this book, how they have changed my life, because I kid you not, my life did 180 in the span of like 2 months, 3 months, which is unbelievable for me at least, because I've been going down the downward spiral for like 2 years now. I'm not anymore. I'm sure you have heard about this book, and some people don't like it because it's repetitive, and sometimes with some points you go like, duh, you don't need to tell me that. I just need action plan. And there are some useful information that you can take from here to add to your life. So I'm going to be talking about them. I have 4 huge points that I want to mention. And before all of them, I just want to say that when I read this book, Can you see my cat? I hope you can see her. Anyways, I hope you can see my cat. When I was reading this book, I was in a really bad spot because I stopped taking care of myself. It started with physical health, and then it combined into mental health. And yeah, you can imagine what can happen from that combination. Whenever I was reading these tips and tricks, I was solely focused on my habit of working out. A little bit of backstory with a little added spice of tangent, because if you know me, I do go on a lot of tangents. So I used to be very physically active. Like, I would do my exercises every day, I would do my yoga every day, and then I stopped. And I could never go back. I would start working out for 3 days and then stop. I would start again for 7 days and I would stop. And I, again, am happy to report to you that I have been doing my workouts consistently for 2 months now. I have to preface this that there is consistency and there is frequency. Frequency has changed in these 2 months, but consistency was always there during the 2 months. I will get into the details of what that means. So again, when I was reading each tips and tricks, I was focusing on one habit only, because as much as I want to do everything all at once, I realized that I am reading a book about tiny changes making remarkable results, which is exactly what I got, honestly. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Get your beverages. I have a coffee here. You also get your beverage of choice, and let's get into it. The first lesson I took from this book is the notion of identity and voting for that identity. Research has shown that once a person believes in a particular aspect of their identity, they are more likely to act in alignment with that belief. That sentence alone switched a light bulb in my brain, because I identify with me being active, because that's all I have been since I reestablished myself, since my university years, okay? And then I suddenly stopped, and for the past 2 years, I could not recognize myself, which was the added stress, I think, because I was living with this person who I don't recognize, not physically, not mentally, like I don't recognize this person. I had to take the matters into my own hands, and yeah, of course you have to make the changes happen in your life yourself. Of course, that is the moment. By the way, throughout the tips and tricks, we are going to have a lot of the moments. It is because if somebody is taking care of themselves, these things are not they don't come to you as surprising. You almost want to say duh, but then turn around and tell yourself that if you knew that all along, why weren't you doing that? It's a bit complicated, but I will try my best to not complicate it even further. So this is our first moment, that if you want to be someone, you have to act like them. It's not like pretending to be like them. It's the identity of someone. Throughout this video, I am going to give you an example of me starting to work out again, making this working out into a habit so that you have better understanding. Like, there are a lot more examples in this book. I honestly suggest everybody read this book because I will talk about only 4 points, but there are so many other small details that are helpful. I will not shut up about this book. Also says you are simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be. When I read this and thought about my working out habits or lack thereof when I was reading this, I thought to myself, okay, if I believe, like as I said, I have this view of myself that I work out, I am active, stuff like that. But now that person, I don't recognize that person because she isn't working out, she isn't taking care of her mental health. And this sentence, like you are simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be. So if I believe that I am an active person, how come am I not working out, And that was like, I should just get up and work out. I know it's not that simple all the time, which is why there are other points that I'm going to talk about. But again, this is just the beginning. This is how you start to ease into the lifestyle you want to create for yourself. And also, I want to talk about this part as well. It says your identity is literally your repeated beingness. So if you are being a healthy person repeatedly, then your identity is literally a healthy person, which is like another duh moment. It is so obvious, but also anyways, I am shocked, okay? I decided to be the healthy person I think I am. So that was my step 1 to working out habit / being a healthy person. Being a healthy person is my lifestyle that I want to achieve, that is the identity I identify with. And working out habit is my first habit to that lifestyle, if that makes sense. So to apply this to your own life, you need to ask yourself, who do you want to be? What that person does in a day-to-day life. How would you be able to change your daily routine to fit into that person's lifestyle, that person that you want to be? How would you change your current routine into that person's routine? And also for everyone, this answer is going to be different. Of course, everyone has different standards. Don't take anybody else's answers as right or wrong answers. For me, for example, as a active person, healthy person, my answers to those questions is that she wakes up early, she drinks a lot of water, she works out every day, she takes care of her sleeping schedule, which I do not. I am trying to. Currently, I am working on that. She dedicates like how many hours of her day to being healthy, to being healthy, like to her routines that help her be healthy, for example, cooking, cleaning, stuff like that, As soon as I had my answers, I tried to tweak my days into that lifestyle. In this matter, I have advantages because I am working from home and I don't have to be anywhere, so I don't waste time on the commute, for example, which is a biggest time consumption in my city. Once you have your answers, you just tweak your day around those habits and try to make time for the habit. For example, your habit may be trying to cook more. If you want to cook more, you just have to invest in some time because you gotta do the groceries, you gotta do the cleaning, you gotta do the actual cooking. Maybe you have to still learn how to cook. So it all takes time. So everybody's schedule will look different. You just have to go through a trial and error process for when you make the schedule. And if you do need help making schedules, let me down in the comments, because I love making time schedules. I think that is my forte. Let me know if you want a video around that topic. And yeah, that was my introduction to being the healthy version of myself. Secondly, I have this formula: behavior plus time plus location. Once I chose what I need to do to achieve my preferred lifestyle, which is being a healthy person, my habit of choice was to work out regularly. Once I established that, I need to think about my next move. And for my next move, I wanted it to be really clear, really easy, so that I don't get out of it really easily. Because if it's too complex, you're just gonna stop doing it. My healthy girl identity doesn't do that. She doesn't just give up. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for the beginning of the era. So I utilized this formula. So I told myself that I'm going to work out in my living room at 8 p.m., but I didn't choose the frequency yet. When I first made that decision to work out in my living room at 8 p.m., I thought to myself I would work out 6 times a week, and one day I would just do active rest. And of course that didn't happen. I could only work out like 3 days, 4 days a week from various different reasons. I just couldn't make it to 6 days. And even if I had the energy, sometimes I didn't want to, so I just skipped some days. Most important thing for me was being consistent. And when I kept reading this book, motivation came back to me. So there's that. In the book, James Clear says that 2 most common cues are time and location. I try to take that to heart, that it is true. Common cues are time and location. So I'm always home. I always have time to work out. And if I don't have time to work out, I have to make time. There is no other way. If you have, for example, alternating schedule from your work, for example, you can do that as well. For example, certain days of the week, I will do this here and that time, and certain days of the week I will do in the other way. So you don't have to do it at the same time, at the same location every day. You can change that according to your schedule, because our brains will take the easy way out, and if there is a little bit more resistance, it won't let you do that. The truth is, our real motivation is to be lazy and to do what is convenient. It is beneficial for us to make it as easy as possible, reduce the resistance as much as possible, at least in the beginning, so that we are not resistant to the habit itself. Yeah, that was my point number 2. And also, I need to preface this that this formula, these are not rigid, they are flexible, because sometimes some things happen that I won't be able to do my workout at 8 p.m. I can do that in the afternoon sometimes, and I can do that at 10 p.m. sometimes. The most important thing that I am consistent in it. Sometimes you may have some other things going on in your life, so sometimes changing this formula won't be the end of your habits. It is fine if you change some numbers here and there. The most important thing is that we still keep doing it. Point number 3 is less is better than nothing. So there was this part in the book that it said, I just want to read it from the author's words, because, I am not the best speaker in the world, because sometimes I can't make up sentences effectively as I want them to be. Okay, I will put that sentence on the screen when I find it, when I'm editing it. So there was this part in the book that it said, if you want to build a habit, you don't have to do it like hours and hours every day in the beginning. I think there's also this method called 2-minute method. You just start doing it for 2 minutes, And after a while, it turns into a habit, whether you like it or not. And that actually stuck with me because I was applying all of these to my workout. I decided to apply that as well. I honestly think 2 minutes is like ridiculously low. And I told myself that I would work out at least 20 minutes. I told myself that I would work out for at least 20 minutes. I did so in the first 2 weeks. And after that, I would work out for 30 minutes. For the remainder of the time that I started my workout habit, I've been working out for 30 minutes at least, with the exceptions. Of course, there are some exceptions and they are not bad days. It's fine if you don't get to the full goal every single day. So sometimes I couldn't get to 30 minutes, but I still would be happy with at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes is not enough to change your body, of course. You won't see any physical change with 10 minutes of workout, but your mindset will change. Even if you are working out for 10 minutes, you are casting a vote to that identity that you are an athlete. I don't want to just say athlete because what I do is nothing near what athletes do. It's just that I don't know, physically active person. In the book itself, he just gives an example of a person who drives to the gym and just gets in 2 minutes of workout and comes back home. When you reduce the amount of time you have to engage in a habit, I think it is easier to stick to it in the beginning, because when you make changes, I would say it tends to affect the other parts of your life. So slowly easing into that new identity is the best start, in my opinion. And you can do that really perfectly, actually, when you have a fixed work schedule. I think you can just slice like 5 minutes out of your day to apply this new habit into your life. And if you have a chaotic work life that you don't have much control over, that I feel for you. I do. And there was this portion in the book. It says, don't be the consumer of your surroundings, you are the designer of your own life, which really resonated with me, because I stopped working out only because of my surroundings. Like, I was in a condition where I could not, I did not have anything to solve the problem. But as soon as it was solved, I could have gone back to working out again, but I didn't. I let the past things consume me in a way. It just sounds dramatic, but I stopped prioritizing my physical health, and I basically stop respecting myself. There's no other ways for it, because that's just what happened. To sum this point up, you can always find at least 5 minutes from your day to work on your habit, the habit that you are trying to build. And I have a new habit in my mind that I really want to start bringing it back to my life, because it was also a habit before, but I stopped doing it. But that wasn't because of my surroundings. It was because of my own anxiety and my imposter syndrome. I am trying to bring it back to my life, and I will utilize this point, especially putting in effort, at least 2 minutes of effort into that habit. And I will talk about that habit when I am a bit more comfortable to talk about it. I am now comfortably talking about my working out habit because I feel like it has turned into a habit. With that, I need to first start and make it stick, and then I can tell you. It's not a big deal, but yeah, I just want to reiterate this for myself as well. There is no way that you don't have 2 minutes, just the 2 minutes in your day to dedicate to that new habit you are trying to build. And even if that 2 minutes is like, it looks too ridiculous for that habit, still do it. I am going to do it. I will do it for 2 minutes. Let's see what happens. Also, this is not only about the time. For this new habit that I'm trying to start, it's not that I don't have time. I have plenty of time. It's just that there is something resisting in me. If it's 2 minutes, there is nothing to resist. It will fly by like this. So there's no point in me saying, no, I don't want to do this, because it's just 2 minutes. Even if it's anxiety inducing, it's just 2 minutes and it'll be over in no time. So yeah, this is how I'm going to look at it. My last point from this book is habit stacking. I actually love this method. It is utilizing a already well-established habit. You add a habit you want to make into the well-established habit. For example, the habit you want to build is to drink water. For example, if you have this habit, like whenever you wake up and go to the kitchen, put on your coffee machine. You just do this out of habit now. And while you wait for your coffee to brew, you can drink your water. And this is going to be like habit stacking. And there's the gratification point, I think. It's just too much for me to explain it here. This guy explains it perfectly. So it's like you put on the coffee machine, you drink your water, and then your coffee is ready, you drink your coffee. And then you have the association that drinking water, right after drinking water, you get your positive stuff because you drank your coffee right after your water. It's like positive, there was a word for this. So that is a nice way of utilizing habit stacking. I kind of failed in this portion actually because I tried to add physical activity of sorts to my morning routine. I follow my morning routine religiously, but the thing is, when I don't wake up really early, I just don't follow through my morning routine. And when I don't do my morning routine, I will not be doing physical activity in the morning thing. So I just kind of failed in that, but it doesn't mean the method doesn't work. I just chose very unreliable habit to stick my new habit to. So yeah, that was my mistake. These are my 4 biggest points that I took from this book and I applied to my own life. I think everyone should read this, and also not only read it, apply it. We do that. We just read through and all of a sudden we are done with the book and we haven't gotten any lesson. This video was for you to really take in what you read from that book, and this was also an example of how somebody who read that book has really applied the lessons to their own life. Again, I am very happy that I am back with working out. Since the beginning of May, I have worked out 6 days a week. So for the past 3 weeks, I have been really consistent. And again, with the consistency versus frequency, as I said, in the month of April, my frequency was a lot less than my frequency in the month of May. This was what I wanted to mention in the beginning of the video, that when you start out the new habit for the first time, you don't have to do it like as intensely as possible. Just start, combine all of the 4 points that I told you. Start small. Again, literally tiny changes makes remarkable results. Take it with small steps. You can increase the frequency in the next week if you want. In the next 3 days if you want. I just didn't feel like it, so I worked out less frequently and then I just slowly built it up. So again, I am really happy that I have been consistent. Also, yesterday I didn't feel like working out actually, but I have already not worked out once this week. So I didn't want to skip because this is my identity, who works out 6 days a week. So I did my workout yesterday, but I didn't push myself to the point where I would hate my new habit. I did with a very low impact workout with the idea of at least I am working out. At least I am not casting a vote to the couch potato that I was. That also makes me happy. This is like 260 page book, and I can wholeheartedly say that every page had something to learn from. Even if you knew them, like you would go duh, but it still has something to apply to your own life. And also there are so many other points that I would like to talk about still. So let me know if you would be interested in seeing part 2, where I will talk about the rest of the book, the small details that I took and would like to talk about. So that's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you a lot. Follow me on my socials. All of my links will be down in the description below. I also have an Etsy shop if you want to support me. So I created this template where you can have prompts to answer, to define your new identity, and also use the formula to choose your habit, also track them. You can use the third page to track the amount of habit you got done, and the fourth page is for habit stacking. And there are 2 more free pages for extra usage. I would appreciate if you check them out, and thank you. If you want to share which habit you want to try to build with these points, you can share that as well. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Like, comment, and share. Share this video if you think your friends will find this interesting or valuable. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.